Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute. It's good to see you all. If you're new here, my name is Grant McAllister. I'm a DP here in Los Angeles, and I am sharing some of my insights over the last 15 plus years of working in film and television, sharing a little bit of my process and things that have helped shape me and my career. In today's breakdown, we're going to take a look at a music video that I shot for Love Bash's Nights Crawling. Hey guys, it's Future Grant here. Just wanted to pop in with a little note. If you see me changing shirts and outfits and the lighting changing throughout this episode, know that it's because of my hard drive crashing. I usually try and get these done in one run, but that just wasn't feasible for this episode. Yeah, just a heads up, don't be alarmed if you see that going on in this episode. All right, well, let's get back to it. This was sort of a sci-fi dystopian Blade Runner inspired video. And yeah, we had a lot of fun making it. We ended up shooting it during a tropical storm here in LA, which really impacted our shooting schedule. We ended up having to shift around a lot of our schedule due to this storm and trying to make sure that everyone, was able to get in and out safely from their shoot. So that ended up shortening our day from a 12-hour day down to about an 8-hour day. So it really compressed our timeline, and we had to really get creative with the kind of shots and lighting that we were able to pull off in a pretty short window of time. Due to the weather affecting our schedule so drastically, we ended up bringing on a second camera so that we could work more efficiently and get twice as many shots as we would with a single camera. I wanted to take a look at this scene in particular because it is our most complicated scene from the video from a lighting standpoint, and I thought that would be the most useful to break down. If there are any other scenes from the video that you want to see broken down or you want any insights on, I've left a link in the description so you can check out the full video below. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you want to see any other scenes from the video broken down. I'd be happy to dive into those. But for now, let's get into this one. For this scene, we had a lot of different elements at play at once. Outside, we used moving lights to create shafts of light indoors, and inside, we were rigging lights overhead, adjusting haze levels to get just the right amount of texture in the air, and framing and lighting for a 2-camera setup. It was definitely one of our more complex setups, but everything came together to give the scene a really cohesive Blade Runner-inspired look that we were aiming for. We even used a replica prop gun from the original film for our main character, as a subtle nod to the film. We shot the video on Xelmus Apollo anamorphic lenses, and I chose those lenses in particular because they have fantastic close focus ability, so I wouldn't need to use any diopters, which are essentially just magnifying filters that you put in front of the lens to achieve a closer focus. These lenses, however, have a pretty remarkable close focus, especially for anamorphics. Your typical anamorphic lens will have a close focus of around 3 feet or so, but these lenses can focus as close as 15 inches on some of their focal lengths, which really eliminates the need for diopters in a lot of situations, which for our purposes worked out great, as we had a couple of specialty shots, which you'll see in the video, that really require the use of close focus. I've shot with these lenses a couple of times and found that they perform best at around a T28 or T4. So I shot the music video around that T28, T4 mark, just because it allowed the lenses to be sharper and would resolve better. These lenses are beautiful wide open, but they do lose a lot of detail. I've got a test of these lenses here on YouTube that you can watch. I'll leave a link to that in the description below as well. So let's get into a little bit of the lighting of this video. I like to start lighting from the wide, and that kind of helps me dial in the lighting for the close-ups. Our first setup was our master, and that was on the 40mm wide-angle anamorphic lens. We shot everything in the video at 48 frames per second so that we could do speed ramping in post. We had moving lights outside the window, 3 lights on the outside of the apartment building shooting through the window, 2 600Cs and one 300X. The 300X and one of the 600Cs had spotlight attachments on them, so we could get kind of harder cuts of light cutting through the window and creating shafts of light. The 600Cs were great because we were able to use those to add a little bit of color tunability. I had the grip and electric team outside the windows moving the lights, and I was communicating with them through headsets to figure out the timing of some of the lighting movement. Inside the room, we had these 2 practical lamps, which I put aperture B7C bulbs in. Overhead, for some ambient fill, we had 2 aperture infinity bars with the snap grids attached to them. Those were just magneted to an existing practical light fixture overhead. And for the overall tone of the room, we wanted to have some green, kind of fluorescent, grungy lighting. So we used the light map for Spectrum with a snap grid on it to light up our main character as well as fill in the room with that green ambient fluorescent. Here's a shot of the Pre-Vis setup that I did in Set.A.Light. This was kind of our overhead layout, and that's what I sent along to our Grip and Electric team in prep so they knew, what lights were going to go where. Here is the comparison of the Pre-Vis frame to kind of the final frame here, and it lines up pretty well. I think, there's definitely some things like the haze that the Pre-Vis software doesn't really replicate. And working with haze is always a little bit tricky because you kind of have to plan for it to dissipate. So while we were lighting, I had the haze machine going and it was filling up the room a lot, to the point where it was almost too much at times. So while it may, look like a lot of haze here at the beginning, by the time we had run rehearsals, the haze levels were exactly where we wanted them. This is one of my favorite shots from the video that the B camera was able to get. This is the B camera tucked behind the couch on a 75mm, while the A camera was on a wider lens getting the medium shot. For this shot, the lighting was pretty much the same as the wide angle shot, except we moved in our light mat 4 and we moved an aperture infinity bar in for a little bit of fill. And you can actually see it a little bit in this straight on shot right on the corner here, which I didn't quite catch on the day, but sometimes those things make the edit. So once we were done with our medium shot here of him pulling the gun, we moved over to our shots of our character freeing this woman from her mind control device. And for that, we used both cameras to get 2 different sizes on each of these angles. After we shot the wide and the scenes of him at the window and the interaction between him and the girl at the couch, we turned around to film our masked security guard man here. This was a fairly simple lighting setup. We lit him primarily with the Light Map 4 Spectrum, and we magneted a aperture infinity bar to the ceiling for a top light. We had the A camera capturing the face on a 60mm, and the B camera was capturing the gun close-ups on a 100mm. So we were able to capture both of those shots simultaneously, which really helped save us a lot of time. With our security guards coverage finished, we were able to move on to other segments of the video. So that does it for this breakdown. Thank you again so much for watching. If you have any questions or you want to see other scenes or clips from this video or others broken down, let me know in the comments below, and make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with more breakdowns and insights coming up. We'll see you in the next one.